Hello and welcome to the 4th episode, I believe, of the MaxYaks podcast. I'm here with the famous Andrea Diogo.
First of all, I just want all of you listeners to know out there that is not at all how Max's voice sounds. And 2 seconds before we started recording, started the intro, it did not sound like that. I just wanted you to know that he's going to be exposed in this episode. So
guys,
please listen in. Get yourself some snacks.
No hate in the comments.
Oh no, all hate in the comments. All hate in the comments from me.
Okay.
Also, I'm not famous.
You're a published author, so...
Yes.
Published. I can kick you off at any time. This can be...
Please do. This was a mistake for you at the beginning.
3-minute podcast, that's it.
3-minute podcast? No, it's like 45 seconds long of just me screaming. Like, you know the Velociraptor, like, screech?
Oh, yes.
That's what it's going to be the whole time.
I love it.
I know, I love it too. Thank you. I don't know why I was invited on. This is a scam. This is my podcast now. Welcome to Andy Yaks. No, it's not good. That's not a good name.
Yeah, because MaxYaks.
MaxYaks is funny. Yeah, it's good.
What, you saying my name is funny?
Yeah. I'm bullying you. I want you to know that I'm looking you in the eyes right now, and I'm bullying you. And future Max, I want you to know that as soon as you text me back on whatever is very important going on, I will also bully you at that time.
Nice. Send help.
Send help.
Call 911,
123 Internet Street. Please send help.
123 Internet Street.
Yes.
Okay. So, since I already talked about it, you're a writer.
That's a very loose term, but yes, I do write.
I feel like everybody writes.
Well, yeah.
Everybody writes, but you do it well. That's the difference.
Why, thank you.
Like, what do you primarily write?
It sounds like a weird mix, but creative nonfiction and poetry. Suddenly, which doesn't even seem real because I don't consider myself
a poet.
No, I really don't. I just I don't know. I barf and that's what comes out.
Honestly, fair enough. What have you written about, like, recently? What's, like, one of your most recent pieces about?
A lot about the ocean. And I was at this writing camp recently, a couple weeks ago, and there's this river that we often will walk to during classes, and I wrote a lot about the river and the world around me because I was at like a beautiful lodge in this amazing camp and everything is really incredible, so there was a lot of inspiration around me. For sure.
Yeah, that actually kind of reminds me of what I'm trying to do now, because I'm bringing, like, I have a poetry book that I write, and I never read anything because it's all trash.
Well, I've read some of it, and I can confirm it is not trash, like you would suspect.
That it is trash.
I can confirm that it's definitely not trash, but I mean, continue, yeah.
But I'm gonna start bringing it around with me because, like, I find the weirdest things beautiful, and I'll just start describing like the tiny thing that I'm so interested in. Yeah, for sure. I would suggest bringing, like, you can buy like really small notebooks at like the dollar store or whatever, and I always like have one of those on me, because like my actual book that I like. Every like finished pieces are in. I don't like carry that around because it's big, but definitely you should bring something with you at all times, just in case. So I was gonna save this for later in the podcast, but like, do you want to whip out a poem right now and just tell it to us?
Wow, I haven't been ambushed at all. Yeah, sure. I have prepared a piece, and by prepared I mean Max asked me to read this, so I'm going to.
You said you wanted to read a piece, so.
I was lying to you. I really don't. But I'm going to do it anyways. Because I very deeply care for you, Max.
She won an award for this piece also.
We don't need to talk about that. But I can't confirm nor deny.
You're going to have to talk about it after your award.
Do I really have to?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not giving you a choice, honey.
Okay. So, yeah. This is it.
Give us the title.
It's called Fight or Flight.
Ooh.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, here we go. I have this theory that how tight your resting fist is determines how much life you have left in you. My brother's tiny fist pink and so sure and so small, clutching onto my finger with all of his little might, first convinced me this was true. It had to be. The way he clung onto me, like he might stop breathing if he didn't. Like if he didn't squeeze so hard, his wispy, growing flame would be gone as soon as it had appeared. And I cried that day. It was a few weeks before my brother was born, the first day that the sun had really been out and beating down on my second grade face the whole school year. I was headed across the playground to go play with my best friend in the whole entire world. We were going to the swings to try jumping off, right when you hit the peak of the swing, right when you feel invincible. I was smiling, braided pigtails bouncing, ready to fly. Bounding across the playground, and a fist, seemingly coming from nowhere, slammed into my nose and sent me sprawling, and I felt the cartilage break. I felt it shatter, and tears welled up in my eyes, and my best friend stood above me, smiling. The bluest of blue skies and the fluffiest cotton candy clouds framed her blonde halo of hair. Brightest of blue eyes like flying saucers, foreign, almost otherworldly. And her little fist, squeezing so tight blood ran down her knuckles and pooled in the grass. And that's how I knew she had a fire in her belly and hate in her eyes, swimming in that impossibly blue lagoon. And that's how I knew she had need to fight, a need to win. Stop, please. This
is actually really good. I love that.
Thank you.
Is that like based on a true story?
Some of it, yes. I do have a little brother, and I did cry the day he was born, partially because I thought that he was an alien. Here's the thing. I was 8. He was very wrinkly and small. I was concerned about his well-being, but also I was very happy to be a big sister. And, yeah, so that part's true. The little girl is fake. I made her up. But,
You haven't broken your nose, right?
No, I haven't broken my nose. That's a lie.
You're ugly enough to have. I'm just kidding.
I know. You. No, same. I 100% agree. Yeah.
Tell me about the award you actually won for this piece.
Okay, so the story behind me even like saying this out loud, which I don't usually read my stuff out loud ever. Like I submit stuff to places and sometimes it gets in, but I don't like say it out loud. But the coordinator of the camp that I go to, Youth Right, her name's Gail. She's a writer in Edmonton, and she works she's a professor at the University of MacEwan. Super cool gal. And she started this spoken word youth choir thing, and I joined because of Youth Right. And she wanted us to perform at the Edmonton Poetry Festival. And so, well, the Kiwanis Festival too, I guess that's where I like got my award from. But yeah, we did like a couple of group pieces, and then she asked us to do individual pieces that we wrote. So I was kind of worried about it, didn't really want to do it, but she pushed me in the right direction, I guess. And so we rehearsed it a bunch. She gave me some notes on it. We rehearsed it like for a couple weeks, I think, and then I performed it at the festival. And then, I just kind of didn't think of anything of it. I didn't like think that I was put into anything. And a couple of weeks later, I saw her at school. She was coming to do a presentation for her camp. And she congratulated me and was like, "Oh, I'm so excited for you about your award." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "Oh, you're going to get an email from Kiwanis. You want a scholarship for your piece." And I was like, "What?" So then, yeah, sure enough, I got an email a couple of days later. And, I got a scholarship for my piece. And it's just like a monetary scholarship. But the important part, I think, is that I can say that I did get something from that festival, which is a really big deal. And I'm happy that it was an opportunity that I was nervous about, but that worked out in the end. So, yeah.
One thing I'm surprised about, like behind all of this, like writing your camps and these festivals and things, is that you don't want to be an author.
No.
Like, why not?
I will have creative spouts and be able to write all day, every day for like days, weeks on end. But if I don't have anything to write about, I can't. And I can't force myself to. So making that like a primary source of income, I think would make me not want to write anything. And that would just kind of bring the magic out of it. So I'd rather do it just because I want to, not because I have to like do it to live.
So like still as like a side thing, you do it?
Yeah, totally. Like, I would want to have a book, like, eventually and all that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't want it to be the only thing that I do, because I would totally freeze up.
Yeah.
So
what do you want to do when you're an adult?
Oh, God. I have been really involved in theater, especially at school for the past couple of years, but I'm thinking I'm leaning more towards film and directing and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Do you have, like, any ideas of a movie or some sort of film?
I know this director. She also has her own, like, company. Her name's Anna Cooley from Erratic Pictures. I guess it's a production company, you could say. And she does documentaries. She has a documentary called Sarapod Abroad. And it's her parents, like, were transporting this giant dinosaur, like this sculpture that they made, because they're sculptors, from here, like, she lives in Calgary, to, I think that their final destination was, like, Romania. And it's the story of, like, how they got that there and their crazy adventure of doing that. So I think, and she does a lot of work with, like, nonprofit stuff, and she makes a lot of films about people's stories and kind of bringing issues to light that she thinks are important and should be talked about more. So that kind of thing I would really like to do. Real stories that need to be brought forward, I guess. Cool. Yeah.
You're talking about how you really want to do theater. Mm-hmm. How did you get dragged into the theater scene?
So I started technical theater first semester of grade 10, so almost like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Were you just interested in, like, the technical theater?
Yeah, I just started because I honestly wanted to try something different, wanted to be more involved, so I signed up for the program, did my first semester, really liked it, and then at the end of the semester, the director, who also teaches, like, the drama classes, right, he asked me why I wasn't in his drama class the next semester for grade 10. And I told him that I wasn't really an onstage person. I was more behind the scenes. And he kind of pushed me in the right direction, I guess, again, and was like, oh, well, you should join. And I was kind of standoffish. And he was like, oh, no, you should really join. And at this point, I was still terrified of this man. So I joined. Wasn't going to continue into grade 11 for drama, but then I ended up doing it anyways because, once again, he wanted me to, so I did. And now I signed up for Drama 30 because I want to. So, yeah, it's kind of been a journey to get here. I've never really been an on-stage person, but I guess now I am, which is weird.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, you did really well in that, like, last role you did in Drama 20.
Yeah.
What was your character's name?
Joanne Klein.
Joanne.
Yeah.
Didn't you have, like, a nobody liked you? Was that your, like, kind of character?
Yeah. I also had, like, a secondary character. I was only in one scene. Her name was Kalia. But yeah, Joanne was she was interesting. She was the depressed bitch, I would say. She didn't try to make friends. Yeah, it was interesting to play her because it was hard to play her. Like, I had a hard time being mean to some of the other actors and actresses, but it was definitely an experience.
Emphasize some.
Some of them I was okay with pushing around and getting mad at, but some of them I felt bad.
Yeah, that's what I love, playing characters that are not me, not even close to me, because it's just, like, so cool to explore other, like, mindsets and
totally
how to take in the world in a different way.
Different perspectives.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah. It was cool because her and I are so drastically different, even in, like, all the subtext and, like, all the things that I knew about her background. Yeah, definitely very different people. And that was cool to kind of dive into that.
Would, like, one of your biggest goals in life to act on Broadway or something like that?
Definitely not. I'll take Drama 30 at Festival and kind of just end with that. I think. Yeah.
So, like, what are some of your biggest goals? Not, like, don't play the safe card. Like, things that are probably not going to happen, but you still want them to happen.
Okay. I would love to have my own film, like a documentary, like at the Toronto Film Fest. That would be really cool. And I would love to be Edmonton Youth Poet Laureate That would be really cool too.
What's that?
Yeah, so the it's a thing in like other cities, but it was started here by my favorite poet, who is now someone I know, which is crazy. But her name's Mary Pinkoski. She was the first Edmonton poet laureate. I don't even know what year, but she kind of founded it in this city, and she started the youth poet laureate thing. And I know a couple of the past ones. I know the current one too. Basically, you submit to being the laureate, and with like a couple pieces and I think a recommendation letter, stuff like that. And you have to write, I think it's 2 pieces by the end of like your term about the city, and you go to like a bunch of events in the city and perform, and you have to start like not like an initiative, but have some kind of project to integrate the youth into the poetry scene, I guess, in the city more, because it's hard, especially when you're younger, to kind of get into it. But if there's someone opening the door for you, then it's easier. So like that kind of stuff, kind of just, I don't know, being like a stepping stone for other people to get their voices heard, which I think would be so cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
That would be a goal for sure.
You also have a lot of weird things that you do as well. Like when we were in a drama class together, we were told to tell like the weirdest thing about ourselves, and you said you always enter a building starting on the right foot.
Yes.
What's the story behind that?
My grandfather is a lovely man, my favorite man on this planet, actually.
Ouch.
I'm really sorry. You're a very close second.
I'm joking.
Very close second. But he always said, since I was a kid, to always start with your right foot forward in every situation. So I started walking into buildings that I've never been to before with my right foot forward. I don't know. It's just a habit now.
That's honestly so cool. It's just like,
yeah,
cool mindset. Always be that.
Be that, yes. Do that thing. Be that.
You're also talking to me about your weird ass theories.
Yes.
You want to like expand on those? You're talking to me about flat Earth.
Yes. Super controversial, I know. If you've seen Shane Dawson's video on it, I think you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Queen.
If you haven't, you should definitely watch it because it's amazing. He is the grandfather of conspiracy theories. That's not true, but I think he's important in making them more mainstream. So flat Earth.
So, flat Earth.
I'm not going to say I believe in it because I don't. Truly, it doesn't really matter to me what shape the Earth is. I don't really care. It doesn't really affect my existence. But I think that the ideas that the strong supporters of flat Earth think about, like the ideas that they uphold, are interesting. And how far they will go to support this theory is also interesting. And that's why I like it.
Yeah. Do you have any, like, things you prepared to, like, defend it?
I prepared nothing, but I can ramble on for hours and hours and hours if that's what you would like, Max.
Oh, I would love that.
Perfect. Okay, so one thing that I thought was interesting, have you ever seen the UN map?
Yeah.
Yeah? It has, like, the leaves around the map of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the Flat Earth Society's map as well. That's what they use, which is interesting because their theory, as far as I know, maybe I'm not 100% well read, I'm definitely not, but this is what I know about it. They think that all of the continents are surrounded by Antarctica. That Antarctica is not just on one side, it is everywhere. We're encircled by like a wall of ice, essentially.
That's what's keeping the water in, I'm guessing?
That's what they're thinking. And that's why they're also very concerned about global warming. Because if the ice melts, then the water just falls off the face of the Earth. Where does it go? I don't know. There's no gravity in space, so maybe it just floats still. Who knows? Anyways, it's weird to talk about this and not get yelled at, because every time I have, someone's yelled at me for being stupid. Whether it's like in the middle of English class, sometimes that happens, or at youth right, like at dinner.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, either way, if the Earth is flat, if the Earth is round, what's it going to change?
Seriously, that's what I think. Like nothing, really.
We're all still humans. We're all still living on the same Earth.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I don't
make a
really,
difference.
it could be a cylinder.
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't really make a difference in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ice wall. Anything other than that?
Well, the interesting thing about the ice wall theory, which is why I think it's interesting because they will go so far to prove it, is the fact that that's their reasoning for it is that, like after all of the colonies decided to stop colonizing North America, whatever, and they had kind of gone into Africa, there was nothing really left. When it came to Antarctica, all of these countries that were so open to destroying so many people's lives and just going into so much land because they wanted to, they didn't want to go into Antarctica. And that is kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, you're so willing to go on to any other piece of land, but Antarctica you won't? Why? I understand that it's ice. I get that. But if you're so willing to be an explorer, you're not going to explore the one place that no one's gone? So what happened was all of these countries decided that no, nobody gets to go into Antarctica. Nobody gets to go unless they're patrolled by like X amount of countries or whatever it may be, which is weird. You know? Like, why would you not? But they decided that they didn't want to. So anyways, the flat earth theory is that nobody is allowed to go explore Antarctica because the governments know that it's the end and that there's nothing after that.
Well, yeah. Well, the colonizing of Antarctica makes sense because, like, in North America, in South America, in Africa, there's resources. In Antarctica, what is there? Nothing.
We don't know.
There is ice, but I think the reason why they don't let people go is because basically the ice there has been there since basically ice is formed on Earth. So it holds a lot of important information there, considering like microorganisms and like the creation of humans. So you don't want somebody like an idiot going there and just like lighting a fire and like melting like the last important part of how humans evolved from. I
agree 100%. But my question is, if all of these explorers, these big name explorers, are willing to go into any other landmass and whatever, discover things there, why do they not let them go into Antarctica? Because they would extract those things and use them for science or whatever, or things like that. You know what I mean? Like, why would you not let your professionals in there? But
they do.
But they're also heavily monitored. Like, no one's allowed to just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like weird. I understand why you wouldn't, again, hunk of ice, who wants to go there? But if you're I will never understand the mindset of an explorer that wants to, whatever, like, go everywhere and destroy things. But,
ooh, shots fired.
Truly, yeah.
At Columbus.
Columbus, don't at me. But, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, if you think about it, why do you think Russia never conquered Canada through the north?
I don't know.
It's so hard to get through ice in a wooden ship.
That's true. But look at like now.
Now,
like
it's different.
Now, it's different. So why aren't people going up there? Because it's cold and they're babies. End of discussion. That's why I figured it out.
It's also you don't know if ice is going to be 2 inches thick or 2 kilometers thick.
That's also true. That's their theory, though.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I was like, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Do you have any ghost stories?
No, not like personally, but I think that also when it comes to aliens, I think that it's kind of self-centered of people to think that we're the only things that exist. Like, there have to be others, right? So I think that ghosts are a thing that could be.
So with that alien part of it, it makes more sense than ghosts to me. Because I personally...
I agree. I would agree.
Ghosts.
You don't believe in ghosts?
No.
I think they're real. Also, I'm scared to think that they're not real because I think then I would be... maybe I would die. If I underestimated the power of the supernatural, maybe I would die.
Well, nothing bad has happened to me so far.
Well.
Okay, but there's... I know I'm ugly, I get it.
Oh my god, stop it.
There's actually one room in my house that I don't believe in ghosts, but it just like has a haunted vibe to it.
Yeah.
Like during the night.
See, things like that, when you know something's off, I think that there's something going on there that can't be explained.
But the thing is, this is a new house. Like, nobody lived in
Yeah.
it before us, so
Yeah.
nobody could, like, oh my gosh, somebody died here. It can't be like
Yeah.
that.
I have like friends that have some ghost stories that also just confirm my wariness towards the subject. I think that it's a possibility. I don't know for sure if it's real. I don't know for sure if it's fake.
Well, you
but I
never
think
can.
that- exactly. Right?
Until you die.
Until I die.
I'm kind of excited for death because...
Oh.
No. Because, like, it's either... I swear, I'm
Morality
not emo.
and other party tricks is what you should call this episode.
Morality and what?
Other party tricks.
Got it.
Got it. Coin that.
Well, yeah, because, like, either...
Then you get to find out what actually happens.
Yeah, either you don't have any more stresses and you don't have to worry about anything else because you just don't exist anymore.
Or you're in hell.
Yeah. But no, I was talking about, like, if there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no such thing as an afterlife. You don't know. So it doesn't matter.
Knows.
Like, no, like, when you don't exist, you don't know you don't exist.
Yeah.
Because you don't exist.
But then what happens to your brain?
It stops working.
No, but then what happens to your soul? Then what, like, where do you go?
Who says we have a soul?
I think we have a soul, Max.
I do too, but some people don't. And I'm just...
We're trying to reach all audiences
Yeah.
here on the MaxYaks podcast. We really are. Flat earthers, people that don't believe in souls, we're here for you.
But, yeah, if some people just believe that we're all just, like, neurons and whatever.
Yeah.
But then if there is a heaven and there is a hell, then you know all of the bad crap, you know, like, all of the, you know, the secrets held by government officials, you know, if the earth is flat, you know, if aliens exist.
Yeah.
And you just, like, get answers. So it's,
Yeah.
like, either you don't exist or you have answers. So it's kind of exciting.
Yeah. It's kind of a luck of the draw. I guess I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Do you, like, also believe in, like, gemstones, like the power of gemstones and things like that? Like
I'm not well read about this, but I think that it's interesting. I don't know if I believe it, but I think it's an interesting idea, you know?
I don't know. I don't believe that either.
Yeah.
'Cause, like,
It's kind of like, I don't know. I believe in like psychics and that kind of stuff. I totally
Really?
think that's real. I think there's a lot of people that are phonies that just pretend they're like, oh, I can feel your aura, but they actually can't. They just
Yeah.
want your money.
Yeah.
But I think that people that know what they're doing, like, know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like, it can be very powerful if you do it right.
I would not believe that, except for I've had experiences like that. Because some people just have deja vu where they're like, oh, I must have seen this before. But my deja vu is I've dreamt that situation before.
Yeah, me too.
But sometimes the situations are different.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can predict, I'm like,
Yeah.
that guy's going to walk in the room now. And he walks in the room and like,
Yeah.
doggy.
Yeah. Doggy, it's weird. For me, I have like pretty bad insomnia and night terrors and things like that since I was a kid. And I'll have dreams about situations that are realistic that I'll immediately forget about, and then that situation will happen in like a month, a year, 2 years, whatever. And I know that I knew that this would happen, but I didn't know how. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's things that, it's not like deja vu because it's somewhere that I've never been before.
Yeah,
you know?
and like faces that you've never seen before.
Yes, and situations that you would never be put in.
Yeah.
Except for this moment right now that you never could have imagined was going to happen. 100%.
There's, yeah, because this happened to me like the last show I did, or no, it was 2 years ago. So I was sitting on the stage, and my director was a lady who came from Nova Scotia.
Yes.
So there was no possibility that I've seen her before, because I've never been to Nova Scotia. She's never been to Alberta before this. Well, she has, but like, you know.
You wouldn't have seen her before that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, I recognized her just in that moment. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It was just so weird.
I know.
But, like, recently, it's been so weird because my deja vus have not been coming true. Like, my situation where I'm at is, like, yeah, I've been in here, but this person is supposed to do this, but then they don't.
Huh.
It's really weird.
The weirdest things, I haven't been having a lot of like weird deja vu dreams that aren't really deja vu lately. Mostly it's been I've had a lot of dreams about snakes, which as soon as I research it, I stop because it's terrifying. But like I keep having a dream about a snake that is like a pet or like something that I'm comfortable with. And originally it was just like wrapping itself around my leg and just like kind of hanging out. But now it bites me. Like I can see it biting me, and I can see like venom like going into like my bloodstream, like all that kind of stuff. But I am okay with it. Like I'm comfortable, and it keeps happening. Like I keep having the same dream about this snake, like this giant python, like wrapped around my entire body and like biting the crap out of my ankles, and I'm like okay with it. I don't know. It just keeps happening though. So I'm trying to figure that one out, but I can't. Also, snake dreams, do not Google it. It's not a good time.
Do you think dreams have meanings?
100%, yes.
Yeah.
I used to think no, but then I started having weird dreams, and I think that they definitely do. I think it's hard to know what it means for you though, because there's so many different interpretations that it's hard to find the one that has truth for each individual.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started believing that when I had this one dream. I can't remember what it was, but when I looked it up, it was like you're in a mega uncomfortable situation that you want to be solved like right now, and I was like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah, things like that, totally.
Okay, so we're just gonna take a quick pee break, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Bye. Hey, what's up, you guys? Yes.
You're supposed to continue with something afterwards.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I don't know how to do this.
Portugal. You're going to Portugal.
Yes, for a month with my whole family next summer, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Do you know where in Portugal?
Lisbon, and then the island as well, I think.
The island.
The island. Well, there's the island and the mainland. So.
Well, there's multiple islands.
Well, the biggest one. That's where my family's from.
What's the name of the island that you're going to?
The Azores.
Oh, I love the Azores.
I know.
My parents went there with a dance group. Some of the dancers ran with bulls. You should do that. Send me a video of you doing it. I
would be terrified to run with bulls. Can you imagine me running with bulls?
I could.
Me?
I can imagine you being the bull.
Thank you. Actually, yeah. I would die, though.
Yeah. My dad was telling me the story. There's these guys, so they like taunted the bull, and then they dug a barrel into the ground. So they taunted the bull, and then they jumped in the barrel, and they covered the barrel. And then the bull would run over it. But then it figured it out. So it like took off the lid of the barrel, and it started like stomping on them.
I'm claustrophobic. No, thank you.
We'll get you a thick barrel.
A thick barrel. A thick with 2 C's barrel.
Ooh. Have you traveled anywhere else? Like,
I've been to Portugal before. When I was, I think, 2 or 3, we went for a month, I think. And fun fact, I ate McDonald's at, we took a train to Germany, and I ate McDonald's in Germany when I was like 3 months old. 3 years old, sorry.
3 months old?
3 months, yes. 3 months I was already eating Don's, friends. No. I was like 3 years old. We took a train to Germany, and I ate McDonald's in Germany.
From
and then
where?
we came back. From
Canada?
No. Like we were in Portugal, and then we went to Germany, and then we.
That's a long train ride.
I don't know what my parents were doing, but we ended up in Germany, and I ate McDonald's in Germany. That's all I know.
So you've been to Portugal, Germany, anywhere else?
Yes. Mexico, the States. Everyone's been to the States. That's it so far.
Yeah.
Planning to go everywhere, though.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
So we're going to travel together then, right?
Perfect, yes.
Wait, before university, are you going to take a year off?
I don't know. I want to, but I also don't want to. I would love to work and to travel more and like all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I also don't know 100% where I want to go. And if I wanted to go to UBC, I would probably take a year off and work first. But if I just went to U of A, I probably wouldn't. So it depends.
Yeah. So you want to go to UBC for what?
Film. They have a really good program in the Okanagan.
Yeah. And
they have a nice, there's like a travel abroad thing you can go for the program, which would be amazing. Like I could go to like Spain and like film stuff. Incredible. UBC
actually is like one of the best schools in Canada for most things. That's why I want to go there for psychology.
Yeah.
So I am going to take a year off so I can work and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If I end up going to UBC, I'll take a year off, work, travel if I can, and then, go to UBC. I'm also young for my grades, so are you, so it makes sense that it like wouldn't be a big deal.
Talking about film, like what are your favorite movies?
My favorite movie of all time that has been my favorite movie since I was like 8 years old that will not change is Labyrinth. It was made, I think, 1986, somewhere in the 80s, I believe. It stars David Bowie. It is a fever dream from start to finish is the only way that I can describe it. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I love it. I still don't understand it at all. I've spent hours researching it, like every single theory about what it means. I still don't know at all. It's just, it doesn't make sense. I love it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. What's yours?
I've thought about this. I'm debating between a few. I'm in love with Django Unchained. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's so good. I'm in love with like most Quentin Tarantino movies. He's such an amazing director. I like Kill Bill, like the 1, 2, and 3. But I'm in love with Hacksaw Ridge. Just like the morality of it.
Yeah.
The talking about, oh, well, do I place what I believe in before what the state wants me to do? So, yeah.
I really love, I think making horror movies would also be really cool. Have you seen A Quiet Place?
No, but I want to.
Oh my God. It's amazing. John Krasinski, like, seriously killed it. It's really, really good. That's a really beautifully done horror movie. I think also, like, The Conjuring 2 is, like, really, really beautifully shot. Get Out is another, like, I think instant classic. It's such a good film. And it's, like, so amazingly done that, like, those kind of movies are the ones that, like, make me want to make movies too.
Yeah.
What else do I love? I saw The Purge, the first Purge the other day. That was really, really good. All the Purge movies I think are really cool because again, like morality, right? Like how far would you go for selfish reasons or like even for your family in some cases in the movies. Yeah.
I think the horror movie would be the hardest film to make. Just not just making like a jump scare movie, but like making like an actual,
like a true thriller.
Yeah, like
that's exactly what Get Out is. There's a few like jump scares in it because like whatever, just things happen that have to be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, Get Out and A Quiet Place especially are true thrillers. Like they're just beautiful. Like honestly, just beautiful.
Yeah, I don't want like horror movies to just be like, boo, that's the horror aspect.
I like things that are I like psychological thrillers the most. That's why Get Out is so amazing because like every time I watch it, I think I've seen it like at least 7 times at this point. Every time I watch it, I see something new that I didn't pick up on before, which is so cool, right? Because you're watching the whole thing and you think that you know everything. But yeah, even like I watched Gone Girl the other day. I started reading the book a long time ago and I like have been trying to keep up with it but haven't really been. And I watched the movie and yeah, just like all of the little hints that happened before that like at the end you're like, oh my God, like this was alluding to this and this meant that. Like Get Out is the same way. I hope that Jordan Peele makes more movies because he was so good. so good.
Do you have like a favorite book to movie adaptation?
Usually the book versus the movie is not good. You know what I mean? Like usually they just don't do a good job because like it's also hard to cram that much into 2 hours max, you know? So if there was like a 7-hour movie with every single detail of a book, I would be happy. Yeah. But I think that J.K. Rowling did a really good job with Harry Potter. That's probably like the best book to movie, I would say. Lord of the Rings obviously is up there. I would say kind of. They're both good in their own way, but I wouldn't say that they were good like the movies based on the books. You know what I mean? Like the books are very good, and then also the movies are very good. Yeah. But yeah,
because I read the books recently, the Lord of the Rings books recently, and then I watched the movie, and I was like, they're missing so many good parts of it too. I know.
But they're still, if you look at the movies on their own, they're also still very good.
Yeah, they're very good films.
So maybe not comparatively, but I would say that they're individually good. I would say honestly, Gone Girl's pretty good. Like not everything is there, but like there are some small things that you wouldn't think would be there that were, which I appreciated as like an avid reader and someone that is always the person that's like, they missed this and this and this and this. Like if they have small details in that I love, then that's a win for me.
Cool. Like do you have a favorite book since you're like such an avid reader?
Oh God.
Or favorite books, because I know it's hard to pick one.
Yeah. One that has a really Special Place in My Heart, because I also know the author, Into the Abyss by Carol Chabin. She lives in Vancouver now, but she was raised in Alberta, and her dad was a politician, and he was in a plane crash with the premier who died, Rachel Notley's dad, Grant Notley, I think. Yeah, he died in this plane crash, and her dad was in this crash with him, and like saw everything. And it's just a story about leading up to that, and then like what happened and how they survived. Because there was also like a criminal on the plane. The pilot survived, and then it like follows a story of what happened that night, and then how they were rescued, and then how that kind of followed them throughout their lives, and how they stayed in touch afterwards. Cool. Which is really cool. It's such a powerful story, especially because it's true. That's why I love creative nonfiction so much, is because of her, and because I know her. That also helps put it in a special place in my heart. But that one's probably my favorite, just because of the like personal attachment that I also have to it now because of Carol. So
yeah, you reading anything right now?
Right now, I'm reading, I have it with me here because I always have a book with me, Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich, do you want to say his last name? Because I can't.
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche, yeah. It's good. I like it a lot. I just started it like yesterday, so I'm only like 12 pages in.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty good so far.
He's actually my favorite philosopher, so I was actually thinking of getting his book once.
You can definitely borrow mine. It's written all over. I would love to have your notes on what you thought.
I don't write notes in books. I just read books.
You should write notes in books. You can write notes in this book.
What do you write notes about in a book?
I started doing it because of reading so much and writing so much, but I will circle things that I really like. And phrases that I would want to remember if I read it again, which usually I read a book at least twice. Yeah.
I should let you borrow this one book that I have. I forget what it's called, but it's this one old man, he dies, and it's like basically the author's perspective on what heaven would be.
What's the author? I think I've heard of it. I don't think I read it though.
I can't remember. He wrote another book.
Is it like a small book?
Yeah, it's
religious?
Very thin, yeah.
I've read another one of his books that of course I don't. For One More Day, I've read that one. But then I think it's by him. If we're talking about the same person, then yes.
Hopefully.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the only book that I've ever made notes in, because I really like... No, I've written notes in this other one, but that was like character research.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. I started because... I don't know, if I ever had a book, then I would want people to write all over it, make it their own, that kind of thing. So I started because I don't know, just wanted to, I guess. And I didn't want to stop myself from writing something down or circling something if I liked it for future reference.
Yeah, I often don't read books more than once because I don't read much at all.
Oh, God.
I know.
I can't relate.
I'm trying to force myself to.
I know. It's hard to, though. It has to be something that you actually really enjoy, or else it's just not worth it.
Well, like right now, I'm enjoying A Brave New World, actually.
Yeah.
Because it like talks about like the psychology of like making everything just like so normal and making like sexuality so normal.
Yeah.
You know?
I have a couple psychology books you should read. They're really good.
Well, good. Give me.
Yeah. Like stuff on Freud's theories and things.
Oh.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. You can have them.
Freud is a maniac.
Freud is a maniac, but I love him.
He was so addicted to cocaine that he gave cocaine as gifts to his family members.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
So speaking of films, Max, you're kind of a music connoisseur in my eyes. Several songs that you've sent me, I now listen to on the daily. So what would you say a few things that you're listening to right now that you really enjoy?
I'll actually pull that up. You should whip out your phone and see like what you're listening to so we can like share music. I love music.
I listen to several different genres, so if none of these make sense together, that's why. Okay,
same though. I listen to literally everything. I recently found this one guy. His name is Gregory Alan Isakov. So good. I've only downloaded one of his albums. It's called This Empty Northern Hemisphere.
Ooh.
So good. So good. My favorite ones are Evelyn, Big Black Car, and Lightyear. And I've been looking for this one song for a long time. It's called Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard it so much, but it like just didn't know what it was called.
Yeah.
And then Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah.
I think it's by the Beatles. the band on this is literally just says "Here Comes the Sun" by Here Comes the Sun.
I love that.
What about you?
I went to the Edmonton Music Awards recently, and one girl that she won like 3 awards that night. She's amazing. Her song "A Little Vulture Told Me" by Lyra Brown. It's really good. I love it. And the video is also very well done, which again, like music videos, that kind of stuff, I would love to do that. I also really enjoy "She's Mine Part 1" by J. Cole. It's kind of like a love song, but not. But I like it a lot because I like J. Cole. What else? George Jeff by Jaden Smith. I love his whole album Sire. It's really good. What else? I like Sun Lux. I like Drake and Brockhampton. Face by Brockhampton is really good.
I'll be downloading all these right after this.
The Black Keys. Everything by the Black Keys.
Yeah, the Black Keys are so good.
I'm not usually an Ariana Grande's fan, but I really like her new album. Like everything that has come off on it, I am totally vibing to. So God is a Woman is up there for me right now. I also recently bought a record player, and I found this album. I'll have to send it to you later because it's so funny. It was like $5 at a thrift store in the city, and I think it's called Pete Seeger. It's by Pete Seeger, and it's something about like waist deep in the big muddy blue or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to send it to you later, but it's just like he has a very calming voice. He kind of reminds me of like Bob Ross. Like if Bob Ross sang, that's what he would be. And it's just like the first song is just like super chill. He has like a gospel choir back in the background with him, and then the second song is literally just him talking. He's like talking about like the story of the birth of Christ, but he's also like kind of debunking it, but also like kind of talking about how Christopher Columbus like stole people's land. Like it doesn't make any sense, but he says it in like this calming voice that you're like, I will believe anything you say.
Yeah.
Like it's so, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's amazing. Like it calms me down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also recently have gotten obsessed with Cage the Elephant.
Yes, Cage the Elephant.
My favorite one is Backstabbin' Betty. So good.
Love that. Oh my God. That song Home by Edward Sharpe and something. It's like, you would know it. It's like Alabama, Arkansas.
Yeah, my sister loves that song.
I love that song. What else? Tyler, the Creator. Rex Orange County. I love him. Boy Pablo. Love Mode by Joaquin Carude, I think, is really good. Far Away by Tompa Beats. I have a friend that just recently put out an album. He lives in the city. His name's Mo. His album's called Smile, and it's like just Mo is what it is. And it's really, really good. He's sunshine in a person. Kevin Abstract, his song Empty. The entire album is good. It's called American Boyfriend, a suburban love story. But I really like the album. I also like it because it kind of has like a whole story from beginning to end, right?
Yeah,
but the song Empty on that album, it's a bop. It's a good one.
Have you listened to any Young Bone?
I feel like I've heard about it, but no.
Because it's a Bryce Bone from our school. He makes...
What?
Yeah, he makes like...
Okay, that's why I've heard about it, yeah.
He's kind of made like ironic raps.
Oh my God.
They're so bad that they're good. I love it.
I can't wait for that. That's so good. Also, just quick plug because we both know her. Kelty. Kelty's album, Everything I Haven't Said. She's the one I went to the Edmonton Music Awards with. She won Rising Star.
Beautiful
check that
voice.
Out. Beautiful voice. Love
Beautiful
that album.
voice.
Anyway, I guess it's an EP. I don't know if that's technically an album, but whatever.
What is an EP?
I don't know what the difference between an EP and an album is. I honestly don't, because like Mo's album, I think it's his first full-length album, but it's not an EP. I don't think.
That's so weird.
Yeah, like it's a full album. Well, he has 10 songs. Kelty only has 4. Maybe that's why it's an EP.
Yeah.
There's like less than a certain amount of songs. I don't know. I would have to say, though, my favorite song right now is definitely Birdwatching by The Shelters. If you haven't heard it, you definitely should listen. It's super good. I don't think that it's that recent, but it sounds kind of like nostalgic in a weird way. It's 2015, so not that old.
I should listen to that.
You definitely should.
Gotten you into like, kind of music. Like, what songs have I got you to listening?
Broken by Lund.
That one.
I love that song. I love that
classic.
song. Also, Cold, Cold, Cold by Cage the Elephant. Also
Classic.
very, very good. Yeah, I can't think of any more, but there's definitely more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, you said something about record player. Like,
yeah.
What's the hype about that? I don't understand it.
Okay, I didn't understand it either, but I was in Nashville last April with my grandfather on like a band trip for school, and he loves Elvis, and I bought Elvis's Greatest Hits record at the Country Hall of Fame, which was so cool. So I wanted like a record player just like literally just to play that record. And I found one for like $60, so I bought it, obviously, because usually they're like $150, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. And it just sounds like amazing. And mine has like Bluetooth too, so I can hook my phone up to it and play anything from my phone.
That's sick.
It's dope, and it was like $60. So what other records do I have? I have that weird one from that thrift store that's like amazing. And then I bought a 30 Seconds to Mars record, but it's like warped and it doesn't work, so I'm just gonna paint it instead.
Oh, that sucks.
And like hang it on my wall. But yeah, I really want Lungs by Florence and the Machine. That's a really good record. And then probably Melodrama by Lorde, obviously. And probably Damn by Kenny. And that's kind of it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe some Beatles. I don't know.
Beatles.
Yeah. It has to be like relatively chill though.
Yeah.
I don't want to play like angry music on there, you know?
Well, like, yeah, I've heard some music on them, but it's not that much different from just like listening to. No, it sounds
different. It totally does. I don't know why. Maybe you were listening to the wrong record player, but like mine, it sounds different. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Kind of chill.
Yeah.
Gonna take a hard right turn here.
Perfect. Love that.
Do you remember how you and I met?
I do. 9th grade math class.
Yeah.
I remember that the first time you ever spoke to me, I just thought that you were like quiet boy who had like really cool hair. But the first time you spoke to me, you farted in class, and then you blamed it on me because I sat behind you.
Okay.
So that was nice of you, and I from that day have had a vendetta against you that today on this podcast I will follow through on.
Oh, nice. Please kill me.
Yeah, perfect.
But it wasn't purposeful though.
It wasn't purposeful?
The blame wasn't purposeful because I remember I was thinking about this. I was like, if I ever rip one in class, everybody like looks like towards where it went. So if I just like turn around at the same time, it'll be perfect. But then you also sat behind me, and I was like, oh no, because I was terrified of that class because I'd always been in the French program, so I was just stuck to my little group there with all my French people like Alex and Carter and all of those people, and then suddenly I'm thrown in this English math, and I'm like, I don't know anyone here, so I'm like terrified. And then like I was like, frick, I ruined my chances to be friends with this chick. But now
here we are, 4 years later.
Almost 4. I don't like that thought. I
hate that. Wow. Oh my god.
Was like going to high school like kind of like a shock to you?
Yes, because I knew everyone. Like, so like you just know everything about everyone that you go to junior high with, right? Because it's so much smaller, that I was ready for a change. And I didn't even want to go to ABJ because I thought that it was going to be like too small still. But yeah, it was definitely different.
Yeah, that was like so terrifying to me.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think I got lost every single day for the first like 2 weeks in grade 9.
Oh yeah, I remember first time I went to the math class because the numbers are so weird for the math wing.
Like you never know which way you're supposed to be going, and then you just end up somewhere, hopefully.
Yeah. I literally showed up 10 minutes late to Mr. Perzak's class.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was embarrassed for you. I was like, oh no, like, is he okay? Like, so moving on, I'm going to take over a little bit here because I feel like I've been talking too much. So I'm going to ask Max some questions for the next 10 minutes or so. Maybe it'll be another hour. Who knows? Maybe this is part 1 of part 2. Who knows? If you could change your eye color, would you? And why?
It doesn't really matter to me, honestly. Because...
Perfect.
No, I'm just being honest. Because, like, you see your own eyes, so you don't really...
Yeah.
Like, in pictures, it really doesn't change.
Okay.
Would you?
No. I used to think that, like, dark eyes were gross, because I have, like, dark eyes, but they're also like, they're dark green, but also have brown. So they look just brown, but they're not. I don't know. It's hard to describe. I used to think that I would want blue eyes, but I definitely don't. And I'm okay with them.
Oh, describe your eyes as like a hazel.
Yeah. They're like a darker version of hazel. Yeah. Do you consider yourself the hero or the villain in your story?
Am I the protagonist in this story?
Yes, but the protagonist does not have to be a hero.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, God, just let it go.
Fight me.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it should be like a neutral character. I feel like they're being affected by good and evil and being like pulled both ways.
Okay.
Question mark.
Yeah.
I hate thinking of myself as the protagonist because I'm not.
But in your own story, you are.
I feel like
in your own life, you are the protagonist. No one else
Yeah.
is. It's just you.
But in like the grand scheme of things, if this was an entire movie, I'd just be the supporting character that accidentally sneezed,
and started an earthquake.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No, I get that. I feel that.
I feel like that's a very self-centered way to think.
I would agree. I wonder how many people actually think that they are like the hero of a story.
Well, it's kind of hard to see it any other way because you live in your own head.
Yeah. I don't see myself as a hero, though.
Really? You see yourself as a villain?
Neither. Neutral.
Neutral again? Yeah. Well, if you want a good story...
Static character.
Yeah, if you want a good story, you want something that changes. And if you stay neutral, and if you're neutral, it's easy to be swayed one direction or the other.
And the best stories about heroes are often the ones where you have a reluctant hero.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you had like an egocentric hero, then it's not very interesting. But if you have an underdog, everyone loves the underdog.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the egocentric hero can be taken in different ways, like being like kind of like the Deadpool way, where they're kind of it's comedic.
Yeah.
Catch my drift?
I catch your drift. I get you.
No, I didn't say the T. It's catch the drift.
I catch the drift. Yes, I do. I do catch the drift.
Are you a big fan of Snapchat?
Here's the thing. No. I'm really not, and I would be totally okay if it just didn't exist. Mm-hmm. How do you feel?
I've come to accept it at this point because that's the only way anybody communicates now. So
I know, but that's so upsetting. Like you know, because we've had many a long phone call. But I would rather call someone than text them literally any day.
Yeah.
Like I don't,
I'd prefer texting just because I haven't really called much in my life. But
except for me.
Yeah, except you.
Yeah.
And I feel like calling is different because it can be at like the most inopportune times, but you can text somebody at any time. Like you're at a family dinner,
That's
you can
true.
still text.
No, it's definitely more efficient, I guess.
In some ways.
In some ways, but also like I would just rather hear someone's voice.
Yeah, agreed. Because like, well, and also with text, you can like see it and ignore it.
Exactly.
So.
I like that it puts you on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like this.
Kind of like this.
Tying it around. Wow.
Yeah. And there's so many things that it's easy to shy away from now and not really face head on. And I would rather put myself in uncomfortable situations like this one, or like being on stage, or like calling someone instead of texting them,
Yeah. I've been trying to do that more recently. Hence this.
Hence creating a podcast.
Yes.
How long did it take you to like get all this set up?
Oh, several months, because I had to order the microphones, and then I also had to order the pop filters, which had like this whole ordeal with it didn't show up, but then it also did show up, but I also bought this new one, so I had to return these new ones, and it was a big ordeal.
Sounds like it.
And then it took so the longest process was just finding the microphones and buying the microphones. After that, it took me like a week and a half to 2 weeks to find out everything that I needed for the podcast, like Adobe After Effects and Audacity and things like that, and how to learn how to use it.
Right.
Yeah. What I was going to say before was like the pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Like if you listen to the first episode,
you sound awkward.
I sound
You totally
awkward.
do. Yeah.
But I get more comfortable with it, and I didn't really realize it until you told me. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's really not how I sound like. And like how you calling me out for my intro today.
No.
Kind of just have like a different voice for online.
Your voice tightens up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's like different because you don't have, if you're making an intro, you're not talking to somebody face to face. So you don't really know, who's watching, who you have to pander to.
That's true. You have to know your audience, but it's hard to know your audience when you don't know
like when they don't
who
have
your
to face
audience
to
is. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a cool place to wrap it up.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun in a way that I didn't expect.
That sounded like a question mark at the end of that.
It did, but
fun?
In a good way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode.